So we're going to start with our feet hip width apart, and we're going to come up on the balls of the feet and back down. So you're just doing some little calf lifts here. And you take your arms wherever you need to feel nice and balanced. And you can also hold onto a wall, and mine happens to be behind me, or onto a chair. I'm going to move over to the pole here because I want to hold up on the next one. So let's go ahead and hold up. Now, if you're also holding on to something like I am, go ahead and make that a really light touch. And then lower those heels. And let's do that again. Come on up. And then make that a really light touch and pull those abs in and find that neutral. You have that slow, deep breathing going on right now. Think of your ears being in line with your shoulders, shoulders in line with your hips. We're not locking our knees, but our legs are tight. Go ahead and drop down onto your feet. Now let's do the same thing in first position. So we have our thighs rotated out and our toes rotated out, 10 into a clock. And we're just going up and down with that smoother move, continual move like we started at the beginning of the other ones. And again, you can hold on or not. If you're holding on to something, you have that light touch. Check your feet. See that all 5 toes are pressing down. We're staying as even as we can. As they wiggle, we just wiggle them back to the center of the ball of the foot. Let's go ahead and hold up now. We have that light touch. Our glutes are strong. Our core is strong. Our legs are contracted. Our knees are not locked. And then go ahead and lower and come back up and hold. And lower. Let's go ahead and stretch that calf now. So I want you to take that right foot back at 12 o'clock and have a slight bend in your left knee and elongate your torso in a diagonal to start. So think of pressing that heel down, keeping that core nice and tight. And then I want you to straighten the left leg, holding your abs in. So we're definitely working those abs here. So straighten the left leg and hip hinge forward. So try not to lock that knee, but feel the stretch in the back of the left leg along with the right calf. Now lift yourself up, bend that knee again. Now this time I want you to turn the right foot out slightly, just like that 10 into a clock position we had. And then lean forward again. Feel how that calf stretches in a different spot. And then go ahead and straighten the knee and lean forward, engaging now a stretch on the back of that forward leg. And then lift your torso and bend that knee again. And this time we're gonna round our back down and we're gonna put our fingertips on the floor. We're going to move our right foot back to 12 o'clock, and we're going to take our torso toward our thigh, and we're just going to hold this for a minute. Now we're thinking about taking that left hip toward the ceiling as we tuck the pelvis under. So the pelvis is tucking under, but it's only the left outside that you're pulling up to feel that stretch. And then put one hand on your thigh, and then the other, and come on up. And let's go ahead and do the same stretches on the other side. So then your right knee is over your ankle to start. Find that 12 o'clock in the back foot. Nice long lean, top of the head to the back of the heel. Press that left heel into the floor. Pull your abs in to support your torso in this lean and feel the calf stretch. Hands are on the thighs, or maybe you're holding on to something, that's okay too. And then straighten that knee as you hip hinge forward. And then pull that hip back just a little so that they stay as even as possible and you feel a stretch in the back of the right upper leg and the left calf. And then push yourself back up and bend that knee. Now, if you didn't feel a stretch on those, you can take your feet further apart. You want to keep that heel down in the back. So now that left back leg is turned out at 10 o'clock. And then we're bending the front knee over the ankle first and pressing the heel into the floor. Feeling how the stretch in the lower leg has now moved to the left or outside of the calf and maybe up around the back left of the knee. And then we're going to straighten that forward leg and hip hinge down just a little more. And you can have your hands wherever is comfortable for you. Both sets of toes are on the floor, pressure in the heel and the ball of the foot, and even the toes. And then bend that knee and push yourself up. Now go ahead and move that right foot, or excuse me, the left foot back to 12 o'clock. And we're gonna round our back and reach for the floor. And then we're going to bring our chest onto our thigh and hold this stretch. So we're tucking our tailbone under as we try to even the hips. So the right and left hip, we're trying to make them equal distance to the floor. Depending on where you're tight, they could go different ways. Tuck your chin slightly and elongate through that spine. And then bring your head up, place one hand on your thigh, and go ahead and bring yourself up the rest of the way. Let's also get a little inner thigh stretch here. So we're gonna go a little bit wider than we do for working plies, just a little bit, just a few inches more. And we're gonna start with our toes out, core strong, and we're in neutral. And then we're going to lean to the right by bending that knee and straightening the left. And then we're gonna press over, bend the left knee, and straighten the right. So this is a very slow and controlled move. Abdominals are in, torso is in neutral vertically. Feel a little inner thigh stretch. Now how far your knee goes past your ankle is up to you. The further you go out, the deeper your stretch will be. So you can judge that for yourself. Find a safe place where you have control. And let's finish on this side and come back to center. Now I want you to take your feet in a comfortable width wider than your body. And your legs are strong, but your knees are not locked. So they have just a baby bend in them. And you're going to hip flex forward. So straight spine and neutral. And you're hip flexing forward. Hands are supporting you by being on your thighs. And you're pulling back up. So we have our feet at 12 o'clock. We're hip flexing forward. Tailbone is going up. Spine is elongating. And then we're pulling back up with our torso. And we have our hands on our thighs for safety in case we need to press ourselves up. The deeper you go, the more hamstring stretch you'll feel here. Keep those abs in. So we're horizontal now. If you can keep your back straight and you want to go a little lower, taking your tailbone to the air or to the ceiling, you can do that and come back in, up, and then come out down to the other one. And then hold here. Now I want you to very slowly tuck your pelvis under, rounding and elongating your lumbar curve, and then dropping your head like we do in a roll down. Both feet are on the floor. Outer and inner foot is pressing against the floor along with heels and toes. If you can, drop your arms down to the floor. You can also keep them on your thighs. Now I want you to think of taking your head closer to the floor, rib cage closer to your thighs. And I know on me, they don't come very close. Everybody's body is different. Now look at your feet from this angle and make sure they're at 12 o'clock. If not, turn them in so they are. Now keeping your hands either on your thighs or the floor, go ahead and pull up. And stop when your hands are no longer in contact with the floor. Shoulders are above the knees, and then come back down. Abs are in the whole time. Push that body down. This time we're articulating all the way up and through to standing. And then let's go ahead and get some strengthening in the core now, and then we'll do some more stretching in a few moments. So we're gonna lie down in our tabletop position, arms on the floor, knees at 90 degrees, hips at 90 degrees. We're just gonna hold this. So let's find our neutral to start. Let's press those shoulders down. And then let's play a little bit with our imprint and neutral. So we're using half breath capacity. We're exhaling as we go into imprint, tucking the tailbone up a little bit. Inhaling as we go back to neutral, allowing the lumbar curve to come back and the tailbone to go down. Exhaling and inhaling. Imprint and neutral. Give me 2 more sets here. And then I want you to hold in neutral. And we're just holding. So now we're going to make the hip joint bigger by taking the knees just a couple more inches away from us. So we're not fully extending our legs, and our shins are staying horizontal. And then bring those knees back and take them just a few inches away. So feel how this work is different than when we fully extend our legs. And it's also different than when we do toe taps. So we're taking our thighs a few inches away from our torso and bringing them back. Let's do that 2 more times. Keep your shins horizontal. 1 more. And then hold that tabletop, and let's go ahead and relax those legs down. Let's get a little stretch here. So elongate your body. Let your back arch here. Your abs are still tight, but everything else, just relax it momentarily. Exhale and release. Let's go ahead and bring our arms like a T, but palms are up here. And now we're tightening up our legs, tightening up our bottom. We're in neutral, and we're pressing our arms into the floor, and our fingers are reaching away from our body, like our arms are trying to elongate. Feel that stretch in the front of the arms, maybe in the shoulders. Find your neutral here. Keep breathing, keep pushing. 3, 2, 1, and then relax the body. And then let's go ahead and come back to tabletop. And let's do some abdominal crunches here. So we're going to exhale as we come up, inhale as we go down. Now I'm going to have you move that leg like we did just a moment ago. So it's not a full extension, and you need that mind-body connection to control that. So you're keeping your shin horizontal, moving the leg just a little as you come up. As you come down, you're bringing it back. If your neck is feeling any stress, just take your hand behind your head for 2 sets, and then use the other arm for 2, so that you're alternating and not doing it on both sides, or on only one side, sorry. And then this is our last set, using our abdominals to pull up and releasing. Let's go ahead and get a stretch for the obliques. We're in a great position for that right now. So your arms can be out to the side. They can be down at your sides. Take your feet wider than your body. Drop your knees down. Let your ribcage come up. and hold. So maybe your right leg goes all to the way to the floor. If it does, just relax it there. And then I want you to think of pressing your hip toward your knee and pressing your rib cage toward the floor. Not actually getting there, but pulling those muscles by those two differing presses. And then you're going to tighten up your core and feel that even more. And then on your next inhale, make it a big one. Exhale and bring those legs back to center. Get everything nice and neutral in your spine. Inhale and go the other way. So if that bottom leg can just relax on the floor, perfect. And if not, that's okay too. And then remember that right hip, the one toward the ceiling, is pressing toward your knee. Your core is tightening. Your ribs are pressing toward the floor. Breathing deeply here. And on the next exhale, we're going to take it back to center. And now we're going to roll up like a little ball, tucking our pelvis under, tucking our chin down, pulling our knees into the shoulders. And then let's go ahead and kind of roll right and left, not really a roll, more like a wiggle. And then keep the torso still and only move the hips, getting a little bit of loosening in the hips. And then relax down. Let's go ahead and do another set of abdominals. So I'll change the legs up this time. Go ahead and come back into tabletop. Arms elongated for the beginning. Let's just keep our tabletop for the first 4 sets. Exhale up, inhale down. Exhale up, fingers reach the same direction as your feet. Give me 2 more, bringing those shoulders up off the floor. Let's hold on this one. Now, you may choose to put your head down if your neck is getting too much stress. Let's extend our right leg all the way and then extend our left leg all the way. I want you to really lengthen. So again, it's okay to put your head down as you do these, and it's also okay to support your neck with your hand. Let's do 2 more sets here. Really pull with those abdominals, thinking of the shoulders being lifted by the abs and letting the neck relax. And then let's go ahead and put the head down and relax the feet down. We're going to rotate in the neck, taking our face right and left, keeping our shoulders down. Give me 2 more sets. So this is more of a release than a stretch, but you should feel some stretches there too. And then let's go ahead and take our hands behind our head. Now we're not lifting our shoulders, we're releasing the back of our neck. So we're going to tuck our chin, pulling, and come back. Be gentle with yourself. Pulling, and come back, but keep your abs in. 2 more. You're neutral here. And the last one. And release. So we're going to get our little beta stretch here by bringing our feet up. And we're going to work on stretching those inner thighs. So first I want you to round your back, do what you need to grab onto any part of your lower leg. It might be your feet, ankles, might be your shins. Then I want you to find your neutral. So get your tailbone down and then get your shoulders down. Bottoms of the feet are together like hands in a prayer position. Press your knees away from you. And I know for me, I even feel the top of the shoulder stretch here as my arms are being pulled by my legs pressing away. I feel it feels good. And an inner thigh stretch. So really now press from the knee, opening up that hip joint. Elongate the neck, remain in neutral. 1 more really big breath here. Inhale and exhale. And then start to bring the knees in, allow your back to go into imprint. Put your feet on the floor, extend your legs fully. Let's go ahead and use our roll up to come up. Inhale here, exhale, and articulate up one vertebra at a time, keeping a rounded back, going all the way to our feet. We're gonna do 2 more. I want you to inhale, let go of your feet. As your shoulders cross your hips, I want you to start to exhale as you articulate down one vertebra at a time. Wrists line up with the shoulders, fingers to the ceiling. Big breath if you need it. Exhale and articulate as you come up. You can pause in between these and get your inhale, or you can inhale as you start your way down. Big inhale here. Last one. We're going to stay up on this one. And then we're going to hold up. So now I want you guys to hold on to something. Sometimes I like to hold on to my feet, but on this one I'm going to choose to hold on underneath my ankles because I want a little bend in my elbow. I want you to tighten up your thighs, pressing your knees toward the floor. And then I want you to point and flex your feet 3 times. Keep them in flexion. In other words, the tops of the feet are coming back towards you. Now start to bend your elbows more, pulling your ribcage down. And if you need to, wiggle your bottom and really let those sit bones be behind you. And then I want you to think of elongating your spine. So the top of your shoulders, the tops of your head are going toward your feet. Remember, we have slight flexion in those ankles. And our elbows are bending, maybe even pressing into the floor. And then release. And come on up to seated position. And then sit up nice and tall in neutral. Shoulders over the hips. Think I'm leaning forward. And then circle your shoulders twice. And then add a long arm into those circles. And then keep the hands down. Go the opposite direction twice. And add a long arm into those circles. Spine is in neutral, abs are engaged. And release. Let's go ahead and have our legs about body width or a little bit wider apart. And we're going to stretch at an angle. So if you have any spine issues, you want to take this very slowly. So we're going to rotate and start to tuck and articulate forward, taking our hands outside of our right leg. Both hands outside of our right leg. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears. Now you can have legs relaxed, or if you want a little more hamstring stretch added to this back stretch, just tighten up your quads and press your knees down. And then release back up. And then rotate back to center, rotate to your left now, and tuck your chin, articulate forward. Remember, both hands are on the outside of the leg, on the outside of the foot. Now you're going to feel how your body weight goes to one side or one half of your bottom. See if you can even that out a little more. You decide if you want to tighten your legs and push your knees down to get a little more in the leg stretch. This is more about the back though, so don't lose that. And then release as you articulate up at that slight rotation. And then rotate back to center. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotation work here. So we're going to take our arms out and we're going to rotate right and left. Now I do want you to tighten your thighs a little bit because I don't want your legs moving all over the place. So tighten your thighs and keep your pelvis nice and still. And remember, we're not rotating in the arms like this. We're rotating in the torso. So think of those fingers never moving from their angle to the shoulders. Keep that chest lifted and you're neutral. There's a tendency to want to lean forward, so just be aware of that. Give me one more set here. And release that. Now I want you to relax your legs in front of you, and then take your hands behind your body. And let's go ahead and bend our knees slightly. Adjust your bottom so you're comfortable. Fingertips are going forward, a little bit wider than your shoulders, just barely. And then I want you to start to bend your elbows and lean back, pressing your shoulders back. We're looking for a front shoulder stretch here. A little bit of the outer chest. Pull your abs in, your backs are rounded here. And then go ahead and press yourself up. I want you to sit comfortably, whatever that is for you, as long as you can sit up tall in neutral. Take your right arm across your body and then grab it with your left arm for an outer shoulder stretch. Now that shoulder, you're going to feel it creep up near your ear. Just press that down. And then we're going to take that right arm up and let that hand fall behind our head. We're going to grab that right below the right elbow with our left hand and get a tricep stretch here. So there's a tendency to want the head to go forward here. I want you to try to stay in neutral. In other words, don't tip your head forward. And then press that shoulder down. And then release. Now let's round forward, putting the forearms on the floor, tucking the chin. And then we'll come back up and we'll do the same stretches on the other side. So press your shoulder down as you have forearm to forearm, pulling your left arm long in front of your body. Feeling the stretch on the outer shoulder in this area. And then release. Find that you're still sitting tall. Take your left arm up, hand behind your head. Take your right hand and grab the elbow or slightly below it. Try to relax your neck and not let your chin go forward. Keep your core nice and strong, sitting in neutral. And release that. Let's go ahead and put our forearms on the floor again and tuck our chin. You decide how low to bring your chest to the floor, or if you want to put your head on the floor, you find your stretch. And then let's use our hands to assist us in our articulation back up to seated. And we're going to finish with a hip flexor stretch. And some more oblique and front shoulder stretch. So I want you to take your right foot forward, left foot back, both toes at 12 o'clock, right foot slightly bent. Now I want you to tuck your pelvis under and get your shoulders in line with your hips. So we're a little out of neutral here. So tuck that pelvis under, tighten up that left half of your bottom. I want you to put your right hand just comfortably on your right thigh or let it hang. And then take your left hand over your head with your elbow bent. Make sure you have your balance. You can hang onto the wall with your right hand if you want. And then laterally flex at the waist. In other words, take your head to the right. And feel how that elongates through that hip flexor. Now, if you can, straighten the back knee, pressing that hip down. Make sure the left shoulder is going down away from the ears. And come back to center. Bring that arm down. And let's go ahead and switch legs. So toes are forward, abs are in, back knee is straight, front knee is bent. Tuck your pelvis under. Not a true neutral, not quite a true imprint, but we're tending toward imprint. Tighten up that right half of your bottom. Take your right hand over your head, elbow bent, elbow lined up with the shoulder. Laterally flex. Your left hand can be on a wall for balance if that helps. Now as we hold this for a couple breaths, I want you to take your elbow back, your shoulder down, Press your hip down. Think of pressing your right heel into the floor behind you and straightening that right knee. Even if it doesn't go, you'll feel that many more stretches. And then come back to center. And let's get a low back stretch. So bend your knees slightly, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, forearms on the thighs. And then come on up. And you're all done. Thank you for being with me for center and balance.